Ladies and gentlemen, it's August 5th. It's August 5th, 2010. You get the idea. You can pretty much deduce the date from what I said. It's Day and I Daily number 160. I'm very excited. I paid rent for August today, several days into the month of August. But, sometimes when Starcraft 2 single player comes out and you haven't gotten the chance to play it until August 1st, rent can wait 5 days. And I have an interesting daily to present to you today. We are not going to be focusing on a game of StarCraft 2. The focus will not be on helping you be a better gamer. It will instead be me talking about the StarCraft 2 countdown party that I did on July 26, 2010. So for any of you who don't know what that was, let me adjust my chair and scoot up here so that way I can get into eager storyteller mode. So the StarCraft 2 countdown party that myself and some people I work with sort of pooped out was this. It was a 12-hour countdown. It was 4 p.m. to 4 a.m., and we actually used that whole period of time. And it was a big community celebration about how everyone's excited for StarCraft 2. So I contacted all these various sites and had them contribute content. So when it started, it was basically me and JP in front of an audience going, "Welcome everyone to the countdown party. Let's transition into the first clip." And then, we did, HD and Pain User was the first one, so we went through that. And then we come back, we're like, yeah, and then we did another video clip. And this sort of progressed until around 11:30 or so. And then we just killed time till midnight. We ripped open a copy of StarCraft 2. And then JP and I, live in front of the crowd, casted the finals of the King of the Beta tournament that Razer sponsored. So, on paper, that sounds pretty awesome, right? On paper, that sounds lovely. But it was the most stressful thing that has ever happened to me. Oh my god. So, let us begin the wrap-up, the post-mortem, the explanation for what the hell happened on July 26, 2010. So, basically, here's the story. So, I started doing this daily a long time ago. I'm into it. I like doing my little recordings and stuff, but it rapidly became something I couldn't quite handle, just with my personal manpower. So I started to need help to do it. So I got my friend Eric to come on, and he did a lot of the technical stuff. He helped me with a lot of the uploading and the encoding. And there were a lot of stupid hurdles to overcome, just like, I need to make sure I get the right bandwidth. I need to make sure I have a good computer to do all this other stuff. And live stream started lagging, so I had to switch to Ustream and all this stuff. But then around April, things finally started to settle down. And I was feeling good. I was feeling fantastic. I was thinking to myself, hey, you know what? I get it. I understand how web streaming works, and I was chatting with Eric and my mom, who's extraordinarily helpful with everything, really, because she's an entrepreneur, so she does, entrepreneurial mentorship stuff, so she always has great ideas she's tossing at me, and we three were having a little powwow, and we thought, what would be cool? If we had a giant 24-hour StarCraft 2 countdown party. Now, already notice that I'm saying 24 hours right now. Notice how stupid that is, right? We're going to get there eventually, but we're all talking, we're feeling good, we're like, hey, we got all the recording set up, everything's going to be awesome, yeah, and you know what? Since we get how to do our own stuff, we're going to expand to this countdown party, and let's bring in everyone, because, I don't know how many of you have been in the StarCraft community for a long time, but occasionally there are, dumb rivalries that spawn up, guy from this website gets in a brawl with this guy from that website, and it sort of bleeds into the site, and there's this, rage between the two, and then, a year passes, and everyone's like, yeah, why did anyone dislike each other? Because whenever you meet someone in real life, you're like, hey, these people are awesome. So, since pretty much all the fan sites out there are pretty much awesome, you're like, yeah, let's bring everyone on board. It'll be totally fantastic. And at this point, our eyes started getting really big. We're like, you know what? My brother, he's in Seoul. We should have him be doing a countdown party in Seoul at the same time. Then we're like, yeah, let's get people in Europe to start doing it. So we're just throwing ideas, we're trying to get all these casters in. Now, I want you to just think of how not feasible this is. So what is my net worth in life? Negative 5-digit number thanks to college loans. My bank account probably has $80 in it right now. And I want to have an event where I'll be like, hello, this is Sean, I'm from Los Angeles, let's switch over to you, Nick. Nick's like, hey, what's up? This is Nick Plott reporting from Seoul, South Korea. And we're just sitting here, in a room, and this is basically the way to describe it. We're sitting there going, you know what? I'm drinking this beer, and this beer is ice cold. Sure, we can invade Baghdad. It's just I'm feeling good, so let's do something stupid. And none of us stopped each other. So we actually started to set this thing in motion. So that was the initial idea. That's where the stress began, right? So what happens next? So I start contacting all these websites, start getting everyone I know involved, so first people who hop on board are like Team Liquid. We ended up getting Ghost of Gamers on, and as I'm starting to contact more and more people, like my brother and Myartosis and HD, my brother and Myartosis, sure, I'll say that, HD Husky, they were like, yeah, let's totally do it, we're in. And it started to expand, and then all of a sudden, we realized rapidly we had like 25 different groups of people who wanted to contribute. And this is kind of the way that I organized it. I said, all right, guys, we want all of you to contribute content to the event because we want it to be a huge community-wide thing. So tell me how much time you want, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or like an hour, something even, so I can, just sort of make a schedule in advance. And everyone, literally 25 different groups of people, every single person said we want at least an hour. One site, who shall remain nameless, asked for 5 hours. I was like, that's like literally 80% of the time available for the community, so I have to unfortunately decline. So there was so many people involved in this, and all of them asked for a lot, and I said, you know what, just submit the content, and if we have to edit it down, that'll be okay. And we set this cutoff deadline for I think it was July 10th, when we had to have all the content in by, because honestly, things will go wrong. I mean, Countdown event is on the 26th of July, but really we wanted it by, as early as possible, so I could at the very least, watch through it, and if for some reason it was inappropriate, we'll get to that in a moment. If it was somehow, really bad, then, yeah, no problem. We'll just happily cut it, edit it, do something with it. So that's what things started to set in motion. And then we got even more ambitious. We said, why don't we host the biggest tournament ever for all these amazing players? We'll invite them in. We'll have the biggest prize pool we can get. So we did that. So already I'm having to try to organize all the community members, because my mom and Eric aren't going to do it. They're not hello, I'm Sean Plott's mom. You may know him as Day 9. I was wondering if I could have your help. So I was definitely the liaison for those folks. So that was good. So that started off really well. So right now, in the process of this story, we're midway through June, right? The event is in a month and a half, and we haven't really gotten that much done. We've made some lists, again, like it's the invasion of Baghdad. Don't worry about it. As long as we have a list of everything that can go wrong. Or not even a list of everything that can go wrong, a list of just stuff we need, tables, okay, with a little checkbox there. Have enough checkboxes, it's going to be no problem in the slightest. So yeah, but as it turns out, the biggest problem was actually securing a venue, because somehow we decided to tell everyone, yeah, it's going to have a live venue, it's going to be awesome, and then we start calling around places in Los Angeles, and no one's going to let us do it. They're a bunch of gamers going till when? 24 hours? We're still 24 hours at this point. 24 hours of time? No, we're absolutely not. We just got no from everywhere. And at this point, we're kind of starting to go, what have we gotten ourselves into? Well, that's okay. Let's start getting creative. We called Harvey Mudd. Because things that DJ Wheat was, consulting with us, because he's done this a million times. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. Anytime I start thinking, hey, I'm pretty cool, I've done this and no one's ever done it before. DJ Wheat did it 4 years ago in China left-handed. That guy's been everywhere and done everything. He's the granddaddy esports casting. So we were oh, a la Wheat, please tell us why we're so stupid. And he's all right, well, the most important thing is an internet connection for one of these places. So we called the college that Eric and I went to, actually where we met, which is Harvey Mudd College, and asked them, would it be possible to host a gaming event? And we kind of explained it to them, and they were yes, we want to do this. Immediately. And get this, they didn't just say, yes, we'll provide a venue. They said, yeah, we'll also provide a janitorial staff. We will provide tech support, cameras, camera people, all the equipment that you'll need. We'll even pay for security. We'll get ice for drinks. We'll provide the tables and the seating and the sound, everything. And we're just kind of oh my God. See, and I just want to stop and give a huge shout out again to Harvey Mudd, because they're just such incredibly awesome, kick-ass people. They're just really super duper duper manner. And the fact that they saw this kind of weird, crazy thing that we're doing, what other student is going to go to their college and be hey, can I do a huge gaming event there? And to have them go, yes, and we're hugely behind you, it was really totally awesome. And that kind of coincides with their culture of just being laid-back, chill people. Get this, when I went to Harvey Mudd, you know how college students like to blow shit up? I don't know if this was the way at your college, but at Harvey Mudd, people just blew shit up all the time. This was the actual rule at the school written down. The fires cannot be taller than the buildings. That was the rule. So kids were regularly just like, I had a terrible day, and they just like pull out a giant couch and just like destroy it and light it on fire. And it would burn, and the camp security would just sit there and watch it burn. And as long as it wasn't taller than the buildings, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. What a kick-ass culture, man. Oh, it was so great. So I was at home. I was like, oh, Harvey Mudd, okay. And then dumbly, the three of us, again, with our ice-cold beers, we get it. We have Harvey Mudd because we have a venue. So we rapidly find out, now we're getting close to the end of June now. And as it turns out, they have this great auditorium. Well, not as it turns out, I had class there when I was a student. But, they have this amazing auditorium, but it's booked. So they tell us you can have the gym. So we're kind of like, oh, okay. So we look at the gym, and I mean, it's a lot of space, but there's going to be this huge echo, and it's such a giant place that if we want to decorate it, we're not going to have any presents. And the people who are designing the banners are like, we need to know by Friday, and it was like a Monday, so we need to know by Friday what the venue is, or we can't do it. So if we call Harvey Mudd back, we're like, can you kick out whoever is in the auditorium that night so we can take it? And they did. Well, I mean, it wasn't like they just were like, yeah, get out, there's video games happening here tonight. They called and said, oh, they pushed really hard to let us use the auditorium. So we ended up getting this amazing, sick auditorium. And I'm going to have pictures of it later. We're going to have picture time. We're going to have video time. So we're feeling good. But then all of a sudden, this is when things start this slow dwindling. Where in all our excitement and enthusiasm and ambition, it wasn't ambition. It was actually just three people being dumb together. It was like Wikipedia, all right? It was just collectively, well, if we all think we can do it, it's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. So what happens is, we then start to really look at some numbers for organizing events. Like a month and a half, month and a week out. I don't know if you guys know this, but running an event is expensive. Okay, so for instance, 500 people can get in that Harvey Mudd auditorium, right? Once all the walls are knocked down and there's all the seats, 500 people. For 12 hours, okay, we want to get them some food, right? We want to get them some food. Now, I'm a math major. Let's do some calculation. If we have 500 people, what food does gamers eat? Well, pizza. Like, what food does human beings eat? Pizza. It's the best food in the world. It's perfect, right? So, a pizza, 8 slices, that's like 2.5 people, right? It's like 2 or 3 slices a person. So you have 500 people, and you can feed about 2.5 people a pizza. That's a fuck of a lot of pizza, right? That is the mathematical answer to that. That's so much pizza. That's like 200 pizzas at like $8. That's still like almost $2,000 just for pizza for one meal for a 12-hour period. That's a ton of money. So like, after looking at this thing, we're like, well, geez, we kind of have to have, like admission sales just to be able to support this event and to not add to my already 5-figure student loan amount. So we put up these ticket sales, like $25 to attend, and we're going to provide drinks, and we're going to have a LAN area with Starcraft, and we're going to have like Street Fighter 4 set up on TVs, and we're going to have like art and board games, and the event with 12 hours of content, and you can meet day 9. I can't believe I actually put that there. It was like, you get to meet me. We were desperate, all right? Again, I'm a nerd who sits in his room wearing Google shirts, right? Nerdy dude. I was like, okay, just write it down. We're desperate here. So we put it up, and I made like 1,000 announcements. If you watch any of my dailies from back then, it's like, oh, we have this great event coming up. Again, I'm still just a dumb guy. Just, ooh, ice cold beer. This is totally possible. I was like, oh, just totally do it. And like after a week or so, we had like 80 ticket sales, which is just enough for only the pizza. Okay, this is the situation that we're in. So it's kind of like, whew, okay. But fortunately, with all that stress else going on, we had these amazing artists. Now, I gotta plug 3 people right now. So, Joshua Clay, who did some absolutely absurd art submissions for us. We actually were unable to print it on t-shirts, but if you go to joshuaclayart.com, he's like an absurd artist. He's done like tons of album covers from like famous bands. It's like really cool. And get this, my favorite artist, he's friends with Alex Pardee. Oh my god, it was like seriously, I felt like I met a celebrity. And Josh throughout the whole thing was like, hey, and if you can't end up using this design, don't worry about it. It's totally cool. And then